Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today I'm playing Entropia Universe. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be talking about how I was about to call out MindArk, okay? So, this is sort of a interesting story. It has a few twists and turns to it. Hopefully you guys are going to be entertained. Hopefully this is going to be good. For those of you guys wondering too, I'm on Arcadia right now. I'm on Arcadia Underground, or in Arcadia Underground, and I'm running around with a level 5 amplifier. As you can see, I've spent about 206 PDs, 7 PDs with markup on this amplifier. I've got about 180 PDs left. I've been doing this mining run for just a little bit, and I haven't got any claims yet, but that's fine because Arcadia Underground is pretty similar to FOMA or Club Never Die. You're not going to get a ton of claims, but when you do get them, boy oh boy, they're going to be big. So, let's get into it. Why is Serial Overdrive calling out MindArk? Because a lot of you guys are probably just, confused by this because, I generally tend to like MindArk, and I still do. So, here's what's happening, or here's what happened, okay? About 6 months ago, over 6 months ago actually, I bought some deeds, ancient Greece deeds, and I thought that these deeds were going to be sellable anytime, right? Like, I read the main post on it, and they didn't, there was no mention of these deeds not being sellable when you bought them, so I assumed, incorrectly, that I could just sell these deeds whenever I wanted to, so I went ahead, bought a bunch of these deeds, about 1,000 PDs worth, 100 USD worth of deeds. And then, to my dismay, once I wanted to sell them, because I only plan to hold the deeds for a little bit, make some money off the new sort of launches, and then dump them, hopefully, while people are still buying. Well, that didn't work out, because I went to dump the deeds after I got a couple PEDs out of them, and realized that these deeds were not sellable. I went to sell them, and this pop-up came, and it was like, these deeds aren't sellable. I made a video on it, and I'm like, come on, MindArk, you've got to tell us this stuff. And someone said, hey, if you go over to the Next Island forums, which it's ridiculous that there's forums for every planet and not just one unified place, but whatever. You go, it's the same with the Discords, by the way. But anyways, you go over to the Next Island forums, you're going to see that this developer in here commented that the deeds are not going to be sellable for the first 6 months. So, I went over to the link. They posted the link down below in my YouTube comment section, followed the link, and found out that they were indeed right. Before I bought these deeds, before the deeds were launched, developers for Next Island had commented, at least on their site, saying, hey, these deeds are not sellable for the first 6 months. I just hadn't done my research. I hadn't looked into it. It was my fault, okay? It sucked. I felt, not too great about it, but it is what it is. I think it should have been listed in the main post because, that should be declared, I think, right up front. But again, I guess a lot of companies have small print, and this was a small print type scenario. Anyways, bought the deeds. Fast forward to over 6 months later, I went to sell the deeds. I realized I had these things, so I went to my PD card, went to sell them. I couldn't sell the deeds. And I thought, hey, it's been 6 months. Why can't I sell them? What's going on? I went on Discord, mentioned it. Someone, I won't name names, was like, oh yeah, these deeds just aren't sellable, Serial. You should know that. Deeds are never sellable until MindArk sells all of them. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works with CLDs or underground deeds or any of these things. They assured me it was, and honestly, I think when underground deeds were released, I wasn't really paying attention. When Calypso, or when Crystal Palace deeds were released, I was actually on vacation. They sold out before I got back, so how do I know? And they were for the Entropia Exchange, which hadn't even been launched yet, so fair enough. And it launched when MindArk said, and these were sellable. But yeah, they're Serial, you can never sell deeds until they're all sold by MindArk. That's part of the Planet Partner contract. Now, obviously, that's sort of talking out your ass because they're sellable now. And that's what this video is about, right? I was ready to call MindArk out. I had links, and one of the things that made me the most suspicious was when I went to the forum, right? That forum link that had been posted, it was deleted. That post didn't exist anymore. It just link 404, and it was okay, something's off here, because now I can't even get into this link that I've got that tells me when I can sell these deeds. I was feeling man, this is not good. I wasn't stressing about it, but I was definitely a little worried, because that's not something you want to see, right? You don't want to feel like you got ripped off, and worst case, you don't want to feel like you're getting ripped off and scammed. So yeah, I was upset. I'm all right, we got to make a video about this, because there's probably other people that are affected by this, and they're going back on their word. So I'm in the Wayback Machine. I'm trying to find posts that link to this forum post that I saw, because I've got the link. I've got the link to the forum, and I'm doing my digging. I'm finding all this stuff. I'm yeah, they did say 6 months. So I had everything prepared, made the video. It was like, that video was literally like uploaded and like ready to launch, and then this update came. So MindArk made good on their promises, and shout out to them. That's what this whole story is about. Like, they came through. You can see here I've got 100 ancient Greece deeds. So let's go ahead, and yeah, you can see it right now. They're selling for $790. Okay, so like over here you've got the MindArk holdings, 648,000 deeds out of 750,000. So only 100,000 deeds sold, right? And here you've got all the players trying to dump their deeds. So if I wanted to sell my deeds, which honestly I'm probably just going to hang on to them because I haven't even visited ancient Greece, but some people told me it's pretty good. So I'm probably not going to dump them anymore, especially because they made good on their promise, and that's all I was looking for, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, like, they're sellable. You can see here someone's selling them for $790, $798, $799. It's going to be a while before people are buying these deeds again. And MindArk definitely took a hit with this, right? Like, they were expecting to make something for Next Island development or ancient Greece development, which I don't know if this is going to affect things or not. They were expecting that to happen, and it didn't happen. They didn't sell the deeds, and they came through, right? Like, they went ahead and they made sure that these deeds were still sellable. So honestly, like, all the credit goes out to them, because with the forum post deleted, I was like legit having trouble finding that information, and there were a lot of people that are just like, Cyril, you're crazy. Like, that wasn't a thing that they promised. And you know, I tend to overbelieve, I think, is part of the problem too. Like, when people tell me something, I'm just like, oh man, that is what it is, I guess. And it's usually, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I don't trust myself. And I went back, I had the comments. I'm like fairly certain like of what I read, but at the same time, when people are so sure of something, I'm just like, man, this person's like super serious about what they mean. It seems like they know what they're talking about. I'm like, do I know what I'm talking about? And I didn't think I did. But at the same time, I felt ripped off, because I'm like, I know, but 6 months ago, I know I felt this way, and like, what's changed? But yeah, I was just happy to see that. Like, there was a big update, and there's a little bit of a snafu releasing it. MindArk had some issues, and they updated space quite a bit. So if you want to go like hunting or do anything like that, depending on what ship you've got, you're probably gonna get a better experience there. But yeah, with all that stuff going on, I was worried, and then now I'm not so worried. I'm happy to see that, right? Like, they made good on their promise, and that makes me feel a lot better about buying deeds and stuff like that, because one of the things is with deeds, you've got to realize, like, deeds are worth 0, right? Like 0, what, like Arcadia Underground deeds, what is the TT value of these things? Yeah, 0.0012 PDs. And what that means is basically, if MindArk was to go bankrupt, let's say, I would probably not be able to get my money back, even if I wanted to sue, right? Like, if you hold millions of dollars of CLDs and it's worth it to you to sue, you still probably couldn't do it, because, well, they're worth nothing. You paid markup for it, and you know that markup isn't guaranteed by MindArk, so you're sort of out of luck there, right? Ooh, we got a vault here. I should do some vault runs. I should do some vault runs for videos. That would be cool. But yeah, like, they're 0 TT, which means essentially, like, if the game goes bankrupt, we're being shot. That is a very loud shooting sound. That scared me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Let's like kill him. I'm gonna have to make sure I mute this part of the video. Sorry, drink a little bit of coffee there. But yeah, like, I was so worried about that, because I didn't, like, I hate to make videos that are like overly critical about some of this stuff, because generally I do take some heat for that, from a lot of different sides. And I knew I needed to make that video, and I was like prepared. I'd made the video, I was prepared for the fallout, and then MindArk releases this update, and it's like, whew, they did it. Like, they came through on their promise. There's nothing to talk about anymore. So that video has been deleted, because it doesn't make sense for me to release that video. That's one of the things, like, I always try to do. If I make a video that's critical of a company, and the company fixes the problem before I can even be critical of them, that criticism is gone. Like, you guys just don't get to see it. And then this time I thought it was worth calling out, because it was something specific that I really felt strongly about, because deeds, I feel like in a way, deeds are the cornerstone of Entropia Universe. There's a lot of things that MindArk doesn't promise, right? Like they don't promise the TT value. Well, they promise the TT value of your items, but they don't promise markup or anything like that. And there's people that get upset because like MindArk wrecks an item, right? Like you have a gun that's worth 1 million PEDs, and then MindArk makes a release, and all of a sudden that gun's worth nothing, and you're upset about it. But deeds, like there's some sort of contract around that, and I feel like that's a firm contract, and the fact that I felt like that contract had been breached. I mean, technically, I think the contract was breached by like a week, but it's software development. Things get delayed a little bit. No harm, no foul there. But like, yeah, it was just so good to see it, and it was so nice to see that, because I know a lot of people, like, especially with this recent update, they're going off about how like the servers were down for a bit, and I think they fail to realize like MindArk isn't a huge team. Like we're not talking about this isn't Activision, right? Like this game is not going to be run like Warzone, right? You're not going to have servers go down for 2 minutes, update, and then everything's going to be good, because if you know anything about servers, being able to do that costs a lot of money, and my guess is MindArk probably doesn't want to spend the money to do that, because A, there's going to be some updates to your launch procedures and everything like that, and B, you're going to need to do some stuff with servers that are, well, it's not too hard. It's just expensive, because you're going to need extra servers, and you're going to be overpaying, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's probably easier for them to just take things down and put it up. And to be honest, I don't know how these servers are run. For all I know, like MindArk servers could be run off Amazon Cloud, and maybe this is a lot easier than I'm thinking, or they could be run off like, you know, servers in a closet somewhere, and this is impossible. It's, you know, all up in the air, especially given when this game was released. Back when this game was released, like cloud computing didn't exist, so I'd be surprised if they were using cloud computing for this game. But you never know, right? You never know how they're using, like, what storage or anything like that, and I don't have any insight into it. It would be interesting to hear. And yeah, MindArk, if you're listening, that would be sort of cool. I'd love to hear sort of a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right? I'd love to hear if one of the big things that's like holding the game back or making updates take longer is just the fact that the game's so old, or if there's something else, if it's a cost consideration, just to be forward with that, because I think a lot of players do understand that the team's smaller, and I think it would be helpful actually for people to be able to put like numbers to it, because I've heard some people talk about MindArk and they're like, yeah, they've got thousands of employees, and how can they not have one person doing this? And in my head, I'm thinking like MindArk's probably like a 50 to 100 person company. Like I don't think they're that big, right? Like I've worked at companies like that. There's things that you just have to do to save money, and that's what I always think. But then when people are like, thousands of people are working there, I'm like, I don't think so. Like they're not this massive corporation. They're just like a small company running a game. At least that's what I think of it. Like, I think most of these planets aren't developed by huge teams. They're developed by maybe like 5 to 10 people. And that's, you know, again, these are best guesses, so I could be off on this, but it would be interesting to hear some of that. Because there's a lot of misinformation, I think, that goes on out there. And some of the stuff I know is misinformation, because it's just like you know, you always hear like usually it's younger kids. They're just like, MindArk, what they need to do is just sit down for 1 month and switch over to the latest Unreal Engine, or just go over to Unity. It's so easy. You just switch over to that and everything works. And it's like, yeah, that's not the reality. Like, do you really think their code base, like, there's no switch? Like, no code base in the world has a little switch on it that the developer can just flick and then like, we're on Unity now, or like flick another switch and we're on Unreal. If that was possible, I don't work in the game industry, but if shit like that was possible, I would not be working, because a lot of my job is literally just switching systems over to the latest thing. So like they're more protected, they're more secure, they're more or less likely to fail. That is, they're less likely to fail. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that I hear people saying, and it's like, I know that's wrong, and I'll try to correct them. And you know, it's always like, Serial, what do you know? You're just some YouTuber. And it's like, well, I do have a day job, folks. Like, you know, I have some experience outside of talking into a microphone, but whatever. But yeah, I think it would be cool to hear from them about that stuff, because that would give a lot of people some insight into what's going on. Also, just to call it out, this is a horrible mining run. I've not found anything. We've gone through, oh man, how much have we gone through? We've gone through over 100 PDs of amplifier, and there has literally been no loot. Nothing. Like, zilch. We've just been getting skills. this could literally be one of the worst mining runs I've ever been on. And for those of you guys who entered the contest, we're going to actually be delaying that for another couple months while I stack up on PEDs. No, I'm just kidding. Those of you guys who entered the giveaway, like, that thing's still going on. I might have even given away the prizes by now. Yeah, these aren't your giveaway PEDs I'm spending, because I've also heard people say that I'm spending their PEDs, which you haven't even won yet. You don't know if they're your PEDs, but I'm not doing that. Anyways, I actually have to get going here. Like, this is I was only planning to make like a short video. I thought, I drop half the amp, get at least one claim, and everything would be good. Maybe get some global for the thing, and yeah, we're not getting anything here. Like, this is devastating in some ways, because I was at least thinking like we get some missions through, like maybe we'd lose 100 PDs on this run, but I didn't think we'd be losing this. This is yeah, I want to keep dropping because I'm like, loot can't keep going this badly, but I think it might. So yeah, not calling MindArk out in this video, but loot is let's tick it up a little bit, guys. Come on. You know my account name. You know how to give me more PDs. Like, what about that streamer loot that everybody says I get? Is this because I'm not on Twitch? Anyways, no, I'm just messing around. There's no such thing as... Oh, there we go. Thank you, MindArk. That's all I'm asking. That was not a big claim at all. So those of you guys who are wondering, this is a 54 PED claim for Pal Crystals or whatever. I don't even know what these things are. 54 PD for Pal Crystals, but as you noticed, we spent over 100 PDs, so this is not one of those things where I just made some money. I just lost less, which, yeah, still can't complain, right? There we go, 105%, so I'm guessing that we're not going to be getting a huge markup out of this stuff. I'll refine it too, just to make sure. Because, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it comes up pretty fast. That's one of the things I like about some of these bigger ores and end matter as far as TT values go. You go through them way faster, which is nice, because then you don't have to sit there and mine for 20 minutes. So let's just give this a quick refine. And what are we at here? There we go, 117 PDs. All right, 117%, not PDs. That would be nice. So yeah, we're still about 50% losses, which isn't great, but it's better than 100. It's better than 100. And like I said, that's all I was hoping for. Like, I was literally just complaining. And see, this is what happens. MindArk actually has spyware installed on my computer, and they're listening in on me. So those of you guys, some of you guys are right. MindArk is a 1 million person company. 100 of them are working on the game, and the rest of them are working on advanced spyware to listen to Serial Overdrive and everybody else talking on their computer and figure out when to give them the best possible loot for the best possible result. So that's what's going on right now. For sure. No, some of you people come up with some crazy conspiracy theories. I love hearing them, though, so like, post them down below. But none of the Trump stuff. Trump makes up a lot of shit, and that's actually detrimental to society. So let's steer away from COVID denial and COVID invincibility conspiracies and go more towards like MindArk being part of the CIA type conspiracies. I'm not saying they are, but they haven't denied it, right? Maybe they have denied it. I'm just talking out my ass. Anyways, now we're just going off into the weeds. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. I'm glad we hit that global, because I was just like talking about it and then we hit it, and I'm like, okay, it makes me feel better now. It makes me feel like I can end this video and call it like somewhat of a success. So one last drop, and that's it. Folks, I do appreciate the fact that you tuned into this video. Hopefully you got everything that you wanted out of it. Those of you guys who have next island deeds, ancient Greece deeds, this means you can sell them now. So rejoice, be happy, and have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace.